What's good, everybody? Just got the stream dropped. Let me make sure I'm hooked up good on my Wi-Fi. Should be good here. So I got this to deal with the chat and watch it live. I'm going to give a little update and answer any questions people have about the New Hampshire 9 arrests and the recent motions to dismiss. Jesus. All right, I'll just pause that so I can participate in the chat. Upcoming trial dates and things like that. I'm actually going to read through some of the documents, so it might be a little dry, but I feel like this is the best way to get all of the facts and controversies out there on the public. Hey, what's up, Kristen? Christine and Lisa, Kevin, what's going on? So yeah, if anybody has any questions, do me a favor, put your questions in all caps. That way it will distinguish other things. And here, so I guess the easiest way to start this off is with the motion to dismiss and quash. Let me see. No, not that one. Let's see here. Objection. This is what I was looking for. So this is the state's objection to all of the motions to dismiss. There was a motion to dismiss filed on my behalf. I had the lawyers withdraw that because they didn't have my permission to put it forward in the first place. And, spoiler alert, everyone's motions to dismiss got denied. But there are only 8 defendants left on this case. The state did drop one of the charges, the charge against Monica Holm. So this document is the objection, the state's objection to the defendant's motion to dismiss and quash. And there is an issue here, and I might as well just put it here now. So the prosecutors that we've seen handling these cases, these New Hampshire 9 cases, they're actually not from the DA's office. So they are from the Department of Safety, and they work directly for Sununu, Governor Sununu. And so he could fire them and all that. So he has full control and power over these 2 Department of Safety prosecutors that are handling these New Hampshire 9 cases. So we just had a Zoom with the lawyer. He's going to be filing a motion to disqualify these Department of Safety prosecutor people that are not actually from the DA's office, and we'll see how that goes. But they did file motions to dismiss on behalf of all the defendants, excluding myself, and the state said they object because the defendant is before the court charged with disorderly conduct, Class B misdemeanors. The 4 complaints encompass alleged criminal conduct by Mr. Staples, that would be me, which occurred at the Police Standards and Training Facility in Concord, New Hampshire on October 13th, 2021. The state alleges that there were 2 instances where Mr. Staples engaged in disorderly conduct. In each instance, the state has elected to charge the conduct under alternate theories regarding his mental state, whatever that means. The first is the disorderly conduct related to Mr. Staples uttered the words, "Shut it down." Okay, first of all, let me say, shut it down. I didn't say shut it down, which I did fucking say shut it down. I said, shut this shit down. We're being arrested. Once I was already in handcuffs. For what? What was I already in handcuffs for? That's the question. Okay? So I didn't open my mouth until I was already arrested for disorderly conduct, which they don't even really know what I did. But said shut it down while clapping and yelling during the course of a governor and executive council meeting at the facility. So I said shut it down, and I clapped and I yelled when I was in zip ties behind a curtain. No, I yelled. But how did someone clap loudly when they're in handcuffs? That's a good question. I was in zip ties and then handcuffs, right? So the state alleges that this conduct occurred after Mr. Staples and Miss Grinnell, Therese Grinnell, she's the one that was arrested for saying amen, seated together, had been given a direct warning by Sergeant Gregory DeLuca of the New Hampshire State Police that further disruptive behavior would lead to his arrest. Okay? And I did get a warning from DeLuca, and it was because I said he should know. While they were talking about the governor, I asked him about all these Afghanistan refugees that were receiving tens of thousands of dollars, and they're here in New Hampshire, and he didn't know how many of these Afghanistan refugees were here. So it's like, he should know. So yeah, of course I said he should know. And that was it. And so I got accosted for that, and they said if I made any more outbursts, I'd be arrested. Okay, so then at that point I was quiet as a church mouse from then there on. So I'd been given a direct warning, and I was the only one that was given a direct warning. Okay, the only one. The state alleges that the warning had also followed after Mr. Staples, Miss Grinnell, and others in attendance had received a similar general warning from Sergeant Megan Walsh of the New Hampshire State Police that further disruptive behavior would result in arrest. And actually, she warned everybody after I got the individual warning. So that whole paragraph is bunk, completely bunk. And it can be proven by the video. So the state alleges that the second instance of disorderly conduct committed by Mr. Staples occurred a few minutes later, when both he and Ms. Grinnell had been identified as being disruptive. So they're saying I said shut it down behind the curtain when everybody knows I didn't say anything like that till behind the curtain. And then they're saying that something took place after that. So what was I behind the curtain for to begin with? Why was I pulled behind the curtain and told I was under arrest? So, state alleges the second instance of disorderly conduct committed by Staples occurred a few minutes later when he and Grinnell had been identified as being disruptive. What does that mean? How were we disruptive? Right? And they were led out of the general auditorium to a staging area by Sergeant G. DeLuca. So now they're saying I was brought behind. So what did I say and what did I do beforehand? When Mr. Staples was informed he was being arrested, he is alleged to have yelled. I mean, you guys are the ones, we already know it's what's alleged. So I've been alleged to have yelled the phrases set forth in the remaining two complaints. We're being arrested, fuck this shit, shut it down, which is what they're saying I said shut it down, and that's why they arrested me, but I didn't say it till I was behind the curtain arrested. So what did I do to get arrested to begin with? The state submits that at trial expects that testimony from Sergeant Luke and Sergeant Greco and review of the video audio evidence from this event will provide ample supporting evidence to sustain these charges. We'll see about that. It's going to be a kangaroo court. You better believe it. We got my brother-in-law here. Say what's up to everybody. Fuck you. Won't do you tell me. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. That's right. So here's the legal argument. So that was all the bullshit that these Department of Safety underlings for Sununu are spewing. The audio's bad? Oh, man. What the fuck?
Maybe take the case off.
Maybe I'll take the case off. All right. Yeah. So we'll take the case off, people. Hold on. Sorry about that. I mean, can I hook up the... I'm no professional, obviously. but this should help. This should help.
Definitely makes it hard.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know. All right, here we go. We're free. All right, let me know if that's better, please. Better? Better. All right, cool. All right, sorry about that. I thought I was loud enough to bust through that thing.
Does it sound better?
Yeah, they're saying yeah. All right. And I'll add this document in there, but I have the 2 denials from the judge in the comments. I'm going to read through those as well. But here's the legal argument from the state. The state submits that defendant in his motion to, and this is the funny thing, because like I just said, the lawyers filed a motion to dismiss on my behalf, and they didn't have my permission. They aren't even representing me. So that day before court, I told them, I said, you need to withdraw that and tell them I'm representing myself and take that out of the equation. And so they did. But the state wasn't prepared for that. They were prepared to argue against the motion to dismiss for me, which wasn't even in existence. So the whole time he's arguing about all the facts surrounding me. If you go back and watch the video, you can see it. I know the audio there is bad. I do have a new microphone and everything on the other device and whatever. We'll see how that works. So the defendant makes several arguments to support his claim that the complaints filed against him should be dismissed. First, the defense claims that Mr. Staples was arrested prior to the behavior occurring as relates to the first instance complaints, which is what I was just saying. These are the complaints that allege conduct occurring within the main auditorium, and that conduct and disruptive behavior was witnessed by Sergeant DeLuca and occurred after a specific warning from Sergeant DeLuca to Mr. Staples and Miss Grinnell. He only warned me. Now it's he or her too, right? And after the general warning given to the assembled members of the audience by Sergeant Megan Walsh. And you can't just give a blanket warning to everybody. You have to warn people who are being disruptive individually. Give that person a warning, and if they violate it, kick them out, set them up. It is what it is. You can't just say, everybody, because this one person is being or might be disruptive, you're all going to get in trouble if you make a peep or say amen, right? All right, so as such, the conduct and disruptive behavior clearly post-dated the general and specific admonitions. Sure, maybe it did, but why did you bring me back behind the curtain where all of these instances happened, but you're alleging something happened before I was pulled behind the curtain? RSA 644-2. Defendant in his motion appears to suggest that he was disruptive outside the main auditorium in the staging area, and that he only became vocal in reaction to what Luca and Sergeant Gricko approached himself and Miss Grinnell and asked that they come with them. The state submits that the law does not require that defendant and Miss Grinnell be specifically told they are being arrested, and that they were seized and detained by the orders of Sergeant DeLuca and Greco when they asked the 2 defendants to accompany them from the auditorium. So, yeah, we were arrested at that point. For what? The conduct which led to their arrest had already transpired. What conduct? Had been witnessed by the state police, and a decision to remove them from the crowded auditorium had before formally notifying them of their arrest is of no legal significance. No, of course not. Sure, you're arresting us, but what did we do to be arrested, to be brought outside of the auditorium? It's very, very simple. The state, in responding to the defense's motion for particulars and by filing supplemental complaints containing more specific language, has endeavored to inform each defendant, including Mr. Staples, of the specific conduct engaged in that the state alleges supports the filed charges. What does that even mean? Let's read that again. make sure I didn't mess it up. The state, in responding to the defense's motion for particulars and by filing supplemental complaints containing more specific language, has endeavored to inform each defendant, including Mr. Staples, of the specific conduct that the state alleges supports the filed charges. But no, you haven't put any. You keep saying there's going to be officers testifying to stuff at some point. They're going to be proving what we're saying, but you're not saying anything. You're not alleging anything. As to the reckless variant, the state submits that State v. Pelkey provides ample support for why the state would allege that variant of the complaint, and it is contemplated by the language of the charging statute. Okay. The defense claims that the charges, by alleging alternate mental state, are duplicative. However, case law in the state establishes that the state may charge in the alternative, even if the court can only render a verdict as to one of the variants for sentence. So they're stacking charges. They're admitting to just stacking these charges, right? Double jeopardy, blah, blah, blah. In paragraph 5, the defense claims the following. Examination of the video and audio reveals that the defendant was at all times, prior to his detention, sitting quietly, peacefully observing the proceedings, and when approached by police officers, completely cooperated, said and did nothing, and left the premises of the meeting, which is true. The state responds by submitting that this is exactly why matters such as these are subject to trial. You have to put your facts forth to get to trial, okay? Otherwise, how am I to prepare a defense? If I don't know what I did, I can't prepare a defense. Fuck around and find out. I can't wait to go to trial. There clearly appear to be contested issues of fact. The defense is asking the court to rule, as a matter of law, that the complaints and filed bill or particulars, there's all kinds of typos in here, this is horrible, bill of particulars are insufficient, and the case should not proceed to trial. As noted in this objection, the state contests that the quoted language with respect to Mr. Staples' conduct on always my conduct. It's always about my conduct. What is the conduct? What's the conduct? On October 13th, and believes that the testimony from troopers present in the video and audio evidence will support the basis of all 4 complaints. No, because they're unclear. None of the audio and video evidence supports the basis of the complaints at all, actually. You want to rely on the testimony of these brown shirt fucking Nazi troopers. These Nazi troopers who are slamming 7-year-old women to the floor and giving them concussions. And arresting nurses for saying amen. And arresting other people for mistaken identity. Okay? Oh, boy. You better fucking hope and pray that your audio and evidence and your troopers, because I've already defended myself in numerous cases from the state police and the governor coming at me on the stuff outside his house. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Okay? Not guilty. Finally, the defendant contends that his conduct is constitutionally protected speech under the federal and state constitutions, and therefore he has an absolute defense. And I mean, I didn't make any of these arguments, so I don't know what they're talking about. The state submits that governor and executive council meeting is open to the public, while at the same time, the public presence, consistent with open government concepts, is not the same thing as providing the public with a right to participate in that meeting. I didn't want to participate, and I didn't try to participate. Part 1, Article 8 was made very clear at the outset of the meeting. The public was invited in to view the governor and executive council meeting, but reasonable time, place, this is the last page, manner requirements mean that purposeful or reckless efforts to disrupt that meeting would fall within the ambit of the disorderly conduct statute. And I agree with that. I would agree. and could subject people engaging in that to conduct of arrest for violating the statute. The defense cites the case of State versus Comley to argue that the Supreme Court upheld the defendant's conviction in that case because the arrest comported with reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions in the sense of disruptive behavior in assembly where the governor's inauguration was taking place, but that they would reach a different conclusion based on the alleged disruptive conduct of Mr. Staples and others for what occurred on October 13th at the Executive Council meeting. The state disagrees and feels that the reasoning of our Supreme Court in the Comey decision provides clear reasoning that supports the arrest and prosecution for Mr. Staples. The state submits, they're not saying why, the state submits that the conduct of Mr. Staples, both within the auditorium, instance 1, which they haven't described what I did to get taken outside the auditorium, right? And once outside the auditorium and in the staging area, we heard a lot about that, was designed to be disruptive of the meeting and to communicate to others in the publicly assembled auditorium who were of like-minded persuasion regarding the issues being discussed that they should be disruptive as well. He's reaching quite a bit right there. But yeah, I said shut it down. Shut it the fuck down. They had all the ties, the chairs zip tied together. They had 5 or 10 vans waiting to arrest everybody in there. And they arrested 9 people for just asking why people were getting arrested. And why did I make noise? Because I was being arrested. I was being thrown into a fucking cattle car, me and Therese, and I wanted to let everybody know we're being thrown into a fucking cattle car. I mean, if we didn't say anything, people we would have just disappeared quietly and no one would have known what happened to us.
With torture cuffs on, right?
With torture cuffs on. I mean, what the fuck is really going on? So I'm not supposed to say, hey, I'm being arrested. Fuck this shit. Shut this shit down. Governor Sununu is up there on his phone texting, sending texts and nodding to the state troopers to arrest people. Okay? So let me check for some questions. Give me a second. Have a seat, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, I got my brother-in-law here still. What's going on here with the live chat? All right. Boom. So I'm going back to the beginning. Remember, put your questions in all caps, please. Sununu just wanted the money to get passed. Exactly. And then what did they do? After it got voted down, they slid the money through in the back end. Is another thing where I got arrested at that event too, at the Legislative Office building. Okay? They snuck that money in there, and then they blocked us, they entrapped us on one side of the building, and they forced everybody out. And as we were leaving, I was trying to make sure all the people got out, and there were some women and children trying to put their babies into, it was cold out at the time. They were putting their little snow jackets on and everything. And me and a couple other fellas were at the end of the building waiting for them, and there was an officer saying, "Get your baby and get out of the building right now. I don't care how cold it is. They weren't letting her zip the baby up." Okay? And then that's when I said, no. We're waiting until everybody gets out. Fuck you, you fucking bootlicking tyrants. Fuck around and find out. We don't trust you people. That's why we record all our fucking interactions, and that's why the cops get so pissed off about it. Because they don't want us...
But the body cams.
The body cams.
What they do.
Yeah.
Right?
What do they do with the body cams? They keep them off until they piss you off, and then they turn it on, and they use it as a threat. They don't turn the body cams on until they're about to use force. Because when you try to go get the body cams from the police station through a records request, they say, that's what do they say? It's part of a thing. You have to have physical force to get the body cam footage.
Physical force or felony arrest.
Physical force or felony arrest to get the body cam footage. So when they put the body cam on, they're planning to use physical force or do a felony arrest. Those body cams should be running 24/7, wired into the fucking cloud. Because we want to know what our public servants are doing. What are they doing? they're
Wasting money.
they're grooming 15-year-old girls, right?
Well, yeah. When she was 13
13
to 15,
to
three
15.
officers just got fired after a year investigation. And the girl, the 15-year-old girl, killed herself, and 3 Salem, Massachusetts police officers are fired.
Yep. Or they couldn't make it on the force, and so they become, guards at the Sununu Youth Detention Center, and they start torturing and raping the kids there. Okay? And we know that's true. I know. I was there. I have eyes to see. I was there when it was happening. I heard the screams. I was warned by other kids about certain staff members who are now arrested and being charged. Okay? So, trial by jury. I wish I could get a trial by jury, and they only give jury trials in New Hampshire for Class A misdemeanors. So a couple of the defendants do have Class A misdemeanors for resisting, and they're going to get jury trials. And we're going to do all separate. We're doing separate trials. Separate trials for all the defendants, because none of us even knew. I knew Therese, and some of us maybe have seen each other at events, but it was all individual, unique arrests on all these people. Yeah, the judge watched the video, Holly. What's up, Holly? And did not dismiss it. I think, this is my speculation, the judge wants to see Sununu's text. And honestly, if they dismissed the other cases and I was the only one moving forward to trial, my life would be in jeopardy. And I'm not just fucking around. You see the thumbnail on this fucking video? You see the thumbnail on this video, right? You see that? That's Governor Sununu. You see that? That's Major Brooks. He was almost a general in Afghanistan, and he was responsible for 14 villages. His job was to interface with tribal elders and figure out who needed to be assassinated over there. How did he come into my presence? And why did he keep telling me that my organization had rats in it and he needed to know who all those people were because he's flipping on Sununu? That was his story. He's flipping on Sununu and all this other stuff. I can get into things, but I won't. Where's Major Brooks? Where's Major Brooks? Dead, supposedly. He's either dead or they relocated him to another part of the country to infiltrate other actual groups, because I'm not a group. I'm just an individual. I'm a one-man army. Fuck around and find out. So yeah, did Major Brooks get killed? He was real tight with Sununu. He knows all about the Illuminati. When you're in the CIA and the Illuminati, they put a chip in your hand, he said. They put a microchip in your hand, and then they don't tell you, but once they get it in you, you can't take it out. If you take it out, it releases some kind of poison. That's what this guy said. And I'm the conspiracy theorist. That's Sununu's buddy. And he's actually CIA. You can go look him up. Major Chris Brooks. He's dead. He supposedly flew off a sharp turn in Bedford, but there's no police report. There's no police report. Why is there no police report? Good question. I don't know. Yep. Yeah, why was he everywhere? He was everywhere, Holly. That guy, he wanted to meet everybody, and he wants to know everything about everybody, and he's going to do investigations on people, and he's going to turn on Sununu and all this. And how about the event where we're at the Manchester City Hall, and a DARPA robot shows up, DECA Research, I got the video, Major was there, and it comes and does a little pirouette. We stopped it, we took pictures of it and everything. It's got cameras all around it. What's DECA Research? DECA Research is an arm of DARPA. DECA Research is owned by Dean Kamen. Okay, Holly, if you can throw, or I can do it too, grazingthesurface.com in the chat. So, Sununu did PPE deals with Dean Kamen during the state of emergency to get masks shipped from China and made millions. And that was allowed because there was a state of emergency, which suspended all the Constitution and all the normal laws. I said I'd be dropping bombs, right? Yeah, so DECA, D-E-K-A, research.com. They're right here in Manchester. It's an arm of DARPA, Dean Kamen. Friends with Sununu. Big time. Yep. So, and then everybody, if you're in New Hampshire, go to Grazing the Surface. I'm going to throw it in the chat. Grazing the surface.com. Boom. Yep. And you'll see the New Hampshire Deep State 2020 agenda in its full glory and all the connections between all these deep state dirty swamp creatures. People don't understand, they think Trump is some god playing 5D chess. Chess is for chumps. I play Go. And if you don't know what Go is, you better look it up. And you better learn how to play. Trust me. It blows chess out the box. If you know anything about strategy, that's where it's at. I agree, Phyllis. Constitution, what is it? Where? I don't know who you're saying that to, but I am the fucking Constitution. Okay? You're either absolutely defiant and you are one that embodies the Constitution, or you're a fucking pussy and you comply and you don't try and you're going to lay down and you're going to die willingly. You'll get into the cattle cart when you get asked to step up and step out behind the curtain. You'll get up, you'll get back there, and you'll see all the brown shirts and they'll say, here's a cattle car, get in it. And you'll go, oh, okay. Why am I getting in the cattle car? And you'll get in the cage. They'll say, don't worry about it. It's just a little housing change. You'll figure it out when you get there. We'll tell you when we'll tell you when you get there. We got somebody waiting for you. Okay? That's what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, this shit is real. People think this is like, oh, whatever. Oh, some people got arrested. Oh, they were disorderly. They deserved it. Oh, yeah, he made a disturbance. Bup. You ain't seen a fucking disturbance yet. This is all my baseline. And the state knows it. And most of the people that are still watching is probably the state right now. They're like, oh, let's keep watching this guy. Let's hope he slips up. And they can all go fuck themselves. That's right. Fuck around and find out. So, hey, what's up, Eric? Yeah, the governor handpicked. He handpicked everybody, and there was a little bit of a mistake, and they grabbed Kathleen instead of Kelly Potenza. They meant to grab Kelly Potenza, Miss Busybody, GOP, political freaking maven. She knows everything about politics, and she'll tell you what to do and what not to do. Don't worry, Kelly knows best. Like I said, I'm dropping bombs. I'm pulling no punches. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give you're nice. Oh, they're nice. Like Don Bulldog, he's so nice, and his wife. And fuck you, Don Bulldog. Fuck your fucking wife. Fuck Sununu, and fuck his wife too. Okay? Because he don't. Somebody got to. Sununu's molesting children, most likely. Flying to Epstein's Island. Why was Ghislaine Maxwell here? Go to Grazing the Surface. You'll know. You'll figure it out. Everything you need to know about the deep state in New Hampshire is on Grazing the Surface. And I apologize if I sound like I'm slurring. Yeah, I am drinking, but I had a freaking molar pulled, and I'm still learning how to talk. I'm going to get an implant in there, but whatever. Little TMI. So, yeah, I mean, let me see. Back to the live chat. If anybody got any questions about any of that stuff, and Sununu known pedo. Sununu senior. Senior, 100% known pedo. We got, like, that's all out there. They were giving the voodoo drug to the orphan kids and having them brought to the White House and then raping them and bringing them back in the morning. Oh, yeah. It's crazy. I mean, you just got to scratch the surface a little bit and it all will start pouring out. It's just disgusting. New Hampshire is the most corrupt state in the fucking union. I said it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. So yeah, if everybody give me a thumbs up. It's been going on. I don't want to waste all your times. Like, share, subscribe. I do have a Patreon. I'll share it in another video. It's not a big deal. I don't do this for money. This channel's not monetized. It might not look like it, but I live comfortably, and I don't need to monetize my channel. So I don't, and I won't. But if you do want to support my work, you can go to Absolute Defiance on Patreon, and there's 3 tiers there. So, but yeah, that's it. I'll let everybody get back to their business. Get to grazingthesurface.com, and yeah, have a good night, everybody. Thank you for coming out and engaging.